Hi there, this is the model train guy, Andy Wilshire. Gonna give you a quick overview, insight into this model, how I've got it to this stage, what I've done to the model, a little bit about the prototype, and then I'll give you a quick whirl of the Legomanbiffo sound, some of the features on that, a little idea of the 3D work that's gone into this, and if you fancy coming to have a look at it, this will be running on Pete Waterman's Making Tracks 2 in Chester Cathedral this summer, and it should also be at the Hornby Magazine's Great Electric Train Show as well, fingers crossed. So without further ado, we'll get into it. This is Colas Rail Class 37219. It's named Jonty Jarvis, and it's either used for pulling network rail test trains without the cameras attached, or as seen in this model, it's got the cameras fitted. I'll try to move you around a little bit to the front there. You can see the camera array on the front. There's also a little smaller camera on the rear of the loco. This is, I thought it was for track clearances or scanning the track or something similar, but on the whole it's an actual camera that's used for signal sighting and measuring the distance for signal sighting. After speaking to a fellow Network Rail colleague, he advised me that's the main purpose. I've had this go past my signal box, and it just slowed down on the approach to signals at Mickle Trafford signal box, took some photos and video, and then went on to its next job. So in this format, that's what it's doing. For most of its life, it's got the cameras removed, and it's just pulling network rail trains, the test trains. Okay, so I'll move you around a little bit. Hope you don't get too seasick. So yeah, you can see on the front there the camera array sticking out. Just swing you around a little bit. Just there you can see on the other end a little smaller camera. Okay, so going into the camera array, it's something I drew on CAD. I use Autodesk Inventor. It's something I had exposure to while I was at university. It's, once you get into it, like Fusion 360, which is pretty similar programming how it works, most 3D CAD programs, it's a simple process of drawing a shape, like circle, square, rectangle, and then extruding that, so stretching that shape to create a 3D object, and you just keep doing that, building off of that initial shape or surface till you get a 3D CAD model. That's then converted to an STL file, and it can be readily printed on either filament filter printers or, as in this case, a resin 3D printer, and that just builds up the same way as a filament printer builds up layers by exposing the photoreactive resin, but it just builds up lots of layers that are like a couple of microns thick till you get a 3D object, and that's what I've had done on this a friend at the club. He used a Anycubic Mono X resin printer to print these. Eventually I'm going to get these available on Shapeways, so if you want to buy these, you'll be able to buy them from Shapeways. In the meantime, if you drop me a bell, I'll try and get a friend to print some, and we'll sort something out for those. So 3D printed, sprayed when I sprayed the rest of the locomotive. I've got some pictures on my website of the steps of it being made, so if you have a look at that. The actual locomotive, I'm a stickler for detail, so if you know your Class 37 locomotives, there's a massive variation through its life cycle, from the grills on their sides being replaced and being slightly different, the horns moving from on the roofs to being in the noses or vice versa. So I found a Bachmann model with the right nose grills, the right ends and the right horn placement, but they don't do a colas livery. So this was resprayed using Phoenix Precision paints, Tamiya masking tape and Railtec decals. Don't know if I can get in a little bit closer there, but the Jonty Jarvis, that's actually a 3D printed decal that Railtec decals do. So it saves having to glue on etched nameplates, and they're easier to get hold of. So that's just applied like a normal decal, water with a couple of drops of a PVA type glue in, and then just applied to the model normally. Just zoom you back out. So they were applied, and then I've used Ammo MIG, streaking grime and dark grey panel wash to create the base of the weathering, and then I've gone over with precision paints, roof grime and frame dirt and brake dust, little touch on the bogies, and then a little bit of track grime on the front. Just try to be subtle, not go overboard with a big thick line of weathering along the bottom. I've just tried to follow pictures I found on Flickr and websites like that. I'll choose a photograph, and then from that photograph I'll then do the weathering to that photograph, because you might see it one day and it's absolutely plastered, the next day they would have cleaned it and it's hardly any weathering, just subtle. So it's trying to pick a photo and stick to that that you like. Okay, so that's enough of me waffling on. Bring you around the front just so you can see the lights. So I followed a website, loco-updates.uk. He's the guy that got me started on DCC sound and custom lights and the whole works really. So if you have a look at his website, that'll be a link in the description. But I followed his guide on how to do the lighting, but I'll be doing another Class 37 with sound and custom lighting, and eventually I'll be putting guides on my website, and I'll be doing a book eventually. So if you follow that, it shows on his website and eventually mine how to do custom lighting. So I'll show you. So you've got fully independent lighting, so all the lights on the front and rear are fully independent. So if this was pulling an actual train, you can disable the rear lights, and the cab lights and everything work with that functionality. But we've got normal headlights, yard mode, which disables the main headlight to save dazzling shunters. Parking rears, so if this was in a station for a prolonged amount of time, you might want to display rears on both ends, so that's just a one click. I've got cab lights, and that's directional, so if I change direction, sorry, that's the Spirax valve. It just kicks in automatically after a period of time, but as you can see, cab light is directional, and also it's programmed that if the loco starts moving, it will switch off, because normally the drivers won't run with their lights on, so they can concentrate on the signals. You can't really see it in this lighting, but I've also got a UV floodlight that comes out from underneath the cameras. It's something I thought they did until I spoke to my NetRail colleague, who said that it's a camera array. I've seen it on the radar scanners where they have quite a obvious blue light from the base of the scanner, so that's something, just a little bit of fun. I'll start the loco up. This is Legomanbiffo sound, which you can get from either Roads and Rails or Charlie from DC Kits. I've got a good working relationship with Legomanbiffo himself, Ian Bishop, and this is his latest 37.4 sound file, and it's through EM1 speaker, which I got from Roads and Rails, that's in the fuel tanks, and Sugar Cube ESU speaker under the fuel tanks. So I'll start it up. I'll just put the volume back on. This has got all your normal functionality, things like horns. If it's coupled up, it will disable the rear lights and do the coupling up sounds. It's got a manual brake, cab doors, fans. The drive hold functionality, so if you're pulling a long train and want it to simulate revving up high and then getting the power down, you'd press the drive hold function, let the engine spool up, and then release the drive hold button. I'll do what I've just done and drove it off the end of the trap. Right. So as you can hear, lovely sounding. I've also added, I'll get it back a little bit more and I'll show the detonator function, which is something Legomanbiffo's added. So as you can see, the cab light automatically coming on and off, but as you can see there, the detonator function, that's to simulate what they'd have for engineering works. They put a physical, it's about 3 inches in diameter, an actual explosive charge to protect an engineering site or a failed train. They place 3 of those 20 metres apart, and as the train approaches it explodes and warns the driver. There's lots of other little functions on there, like the Spirax valves you can hear popping away. There's other fans. Like I've added, while it's stationary, a dispatch whistle, but the same button whilst it's moving. It's got the scraping wheels over the flanges, through points and round corners. I think there's other decoders that have got a slightly longer start-up time, and I'll show you my Jamie Goodman on the snow ploughs at some point. That's got a long start-up time, but I think for playability sounds, the Legomanbiffo can't be beaten on the 37 especially. I've got a F28 mapped as the fade, the sound down to 10%, so at the exhibition, while this is in the sidings, we can press like quiet mode basically, and you'll be able to hear the locomotives at the front. So thanks for watching the video. Any questions, drop me a comment in my website or Facebook pages and I'll get back to you. Have a look at those. So without further ado, I'll wrap that up, and if you could like, subscribe, comment and have a look at my website.